All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are coming in from. This is Attorney Kevin. This is another episode of the Not an Accident podcast, and I am so excited because this is not only is it episode 45, but we got my boy Luigi Leon in the house.
Amen.
Absolutely, man. I gotta ask, can you do your intro?
Can I do my intro?
Your intro. What up, my beautiful?
What's up, my beautiful family?
I love it. I was like, that's gonna be the first question out of the gate, man. I love. As soon as I see your videos, it's so consistent. So Luigi actually kills it. You may also know him in the Tampa Bay area as PGLux, which is his exotic rental business. He's also expanded into villas and jets, which is incredible. He is the CEO of an architecture company with your amazing wife, who absolutely, when we went to that event that she was designing the penthouse for, what is it? The Aura. Yes, correct. Residences down in Tampa. Absolutely gorgeous. And then you're expanding into coaching now, which we're going to get into that and how that came about. So my first question just out of the gate is, we don't do too much background. Obviously, it comes out within the podcast. But every time I see your content, I see you in person or anything like that, you have such a good spirit about you and just so positive. So in a world that is going through so much, politics aside, how do you stay so positive and just spread that to your audience and your people?
Everything begins and ends with God. To me, everything in my life is faith-filled. I'm grateful for the relationship that I have with God, and I really believe that He's the one that sustains me, and every day in every way. And I really believe that it's how you begin your days, right? Everybody can have off days, but if you have that foundation and you have that sustainability, through God, and have faith in God and the ability that He's given us to be able to do what we do, right? That's all that matters. We have to remove the noise, because right now in the world, like you said, we're going through a lot of stuff that can grab our attention this way, our attention this way, attention this way. And our emotions and our feelings are involved in everything we put our attention to. So what am I going to focus on? I'm going to focus on being the best father, the best husband, the best leader, the best producer, put God on everything, and don't worry about anything else. Most people today, that's all they do is they worry about the chatter. And, oh, my God, this happened in World War III. And look what's happening with the gas.
Ben and J-Lo broke up again.
Oh, my God, right?
You know what I mean? It's like
literally those things that really, how does that affect your life really? You know what I mean?
Or even today.
Yes. Like, what do we do? What are we going to worry and complain about something that we really have no control to change? Or are we just going to focus and keep on doing what we know we were called to do? That's how I live my life every day.
I really, through the podcast we were talking about before we started, and how I've been able to, this is episode 45. I say it again because,
congratulations,
dude,
man.
I mean,
congratulations.
That's surreal to me and thank you to everybody that has not only watched, but has taken the time to come out on the podcast. I love using examples and analogies in my life, and even like driving here and you see, a gentleman on the side of the road just trying to get a couple bucks for, because he's hungry, or, you see somebody that's going through some type of illness and if you take, like you said, remove the noise and take a step back and are like, okay, let me look around and all the amazing people I have in my life and the things and connection with God and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, my situation doesn't look so bad. It could be so much worse.
Gratitude. And that's a great exercise. Talking about that, but being grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Most people are, again, thinking of what they don't have, what they're looking for. But if you just
what's the next goal? What's the next thing? What's the next trinket?
Sit back.
Yeah.
And be grateful for the health you have, for the family you have, the friendships that you have, the career you have. Like, these are things that really, really move the needle, right? Everything else is BS, period.
I would say, and kind of capitalizing upon that, how many free things in your life can you get excited about? You know what I mean? I woke up today. I have a bed to sleep in. I have a, beautiful, or handsome spouse that I woke up next to, or significant other, beautiful kids, my health, et cetera. I mean, you can wake up the first 5 minutes in the day and have 1,000 things to be grateful for.
Amen.
You share your life, transitioning a little bit, you share your life a lot, not only as an entrepreneur, but as an individual as well, with your beautiful family and some of the things you like to do. Do you think that's the direction that, I guess, social media marketing is headed for entrepreneurs? It's so much more, and let me kind of expand on that. It's so much more about, hey, buy my widget or my service or this. It's more about who I am. Do you agree with that, or give me your thoughts?
100%. I think that today what social media has turned into is branding the individual.
Mm-hmm.
Where we used to do marketing. Marketing was for businesses and for your services. Now marketing in social media is marketing you. You know, people are buying from you, they do business with you, and now they get to see the full picture of who you are. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you lead your life, right? So social media, it puts you in a fishbowl. You know, you're literally exposed to everything. So for me, it's like walk the walk, talk the talk, and do what you have to say because all the BS is being identified very, very quickly. How many people have we not seen that we personally know as well that are they portray something on online and we know them personally like that's not the person they are. But little by little, that's going to be identified in their life and it's going to show in their fruit. So for me, it's I want to be a fruitful person. So I'm going to be who I am on camera and off camera. And most people that know me can identify that I'm the same person 24 hours a day.
So I think, and I want to capitalize on what you said too, because I think social media has almost become like a lie detector. So, and the reason my lie detector is somebody's stories. Okay. So like, and I'm talking about like real in the life stories. And it's like, you go through and look at my stories and you'll kind of see it as a day in the life. I try to do like 4 or 5 stories a day. Like here's me getting at the gym. Here's me working a little bit. Here's something cool that happened that day. Here's a little bit of, spending some time with my family. And I try to give people like a real snapshot. If you're posting on your main page, once a day and then 1 story a day, I'm like, you may be full of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I know people are not chronically on social media.
There's some introverts out there
Yeah,
that
of
don't
course.
like it.
And that's okay. But I'm like, man, you say you're grinding, 14, 16 hours a day or doing whatever you're doing, but why are you not sharing that? You're not proud of it? You're not doing it? What's going on here?
Social media has become almost like your
It's almost a double-edged sword.
It is. But it also becomes like your presentation letter now, almost like your business card in every way, shape, or form. Like I said, we can have our brands. We can have PGLux. We can have PG Studio. We can have the law firm, everything. But who are they doing business with?
Correct.
It's us. So if they can identify that they can connect with us on a human level, forget about the business side, then I think that makes a more lasting relationship and a more fruitful relationship. So that's why I think social media, man, can literally identify, like I've been able to kind of like get away from doing business with certain people just because of what I see them post. And it's something that I'm a person of character. So I want to do business with someone that, leads a life of righteousness, wants to be a good father, a good husband, everything you portray. Like, I love what you put online, bro.
Thank you so much.
I was laughing this morning about your lip singing and telling you, I was like, dude, this guy is hilarious, but I love that. You spend time with your children, I'm the same way, bro. Like, my life is my family. That's the reason, that's my why. My why, what I do every single day. I think of my wife, I think of my children. That's the reason. And that's my life. So if I'm going to show you my life, I'm going to show you everything about me, everything that I am. And social media allows us to do that in a good way. But again, there's some people that, unfortunately, it's not benefiting them in a good way. And they need to start identifying that, because as we progress in life, I think social media is going to become more and more and more and more evident that that's going to be the marketing channel for everything. And that's going to be the place like, as soon as you walk out of the room, and it happens to us today, how many people do not go and check your social media, right? They found out who you are and they're like, okay, let me see who he really is, right? This happens for everything. And I do that as well. I judge the people I do business with by what I see that they actually show in character. So it's important.
I don't even give out a business card anymore. Or my, I'll give my contact if they want, but I'm like, just follow me on Instagram. Like, and I have it on my phone now or whatever, so they can just scan the QR code and start following me on Instagram, because it's like, the other thing too is a contact or a business card is a one transaction. I want you to see me over and over again. And I think people that are not, using their social media in a positive way, are really making a mistake. The other thing I would say too with that is, having kids and stuff, my social media has definitely changed. And not only highlighting them because I love them so much and they're the light of my life as well, but my son and my daughter, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the road, or one of their little knucklehead friends at school is going to see my social media and my wife's social media. And I want them to be proud of their father. And I want them to say, my dad was, a good guy and cared about fitness and cared about me. And, oh, look at this photo of me. And I want them to be able to see this highlight reel of their father doing the right thing rather than a bunch of, bottles, models, and thirst traps, as the kids say. That's what the kids say.
No, but
Yeah.
it's true.
It's true.
But it's true. That's and again, you and I are living in a different mindset because we are husbands and fathers. There's a lot of young entrepreneurs, they're not even thinking about that. They're just thinking about, popping bottles and buying the expensive things and the jewelry and the cars. And that's all cool. They'll get their moment of maturity. But they have to also understand that they're being exposed. Their life is being exposed to everything that they post out there. And that's 100%. Something that's recorded, that's on the cloud, that's forever. It's almost like your life journal. I really believe that it's kind of cool what we can do with all these videos because, the day that we're not here any longer, that God decides to take us, with him, what we leave, is a lot of recorded content, a lot of things that
now more than ever.
And
it's only increasing.
That your children, your grandchildren can go back to and look like, oh man, how cool was my grandpa or how cool was my dad or whatever. These are things that we're leaving them. This is our legacy. So I really believe that everything is being planted on social media, but it's almost a life record.
It's a picture book.
Yes.
Obviously, you're in the exotic car business. You have an incredible rental business that you were just telling me that we're going in. This is obviously going to be out in a couple weeks, but it's Easter weekend that we're recording this, and you're out of cars.
We're out of cars.
That's amazing. It's a good problem and a bad problem. It is. Why do you think that I guess, I wouldn't even call it, obsession is probably the wrong word, but the excitement around exotic cars in the last couple of years, why do you think that's just like, is it maybe accessibility?
I believe so. And we go back to social media.
Yeah.
We go back to what social media
This is
exposes.
a sign of wealth.
It is.
So.
It's something that, and as you're seeing Tampa grow, because I come, I've been now in Tampa for a little bit over 4 years.
Okay.
Back from Miami. But the life in Miami, you see the lavish lifestyle. You see the cars. You see all the things. So it becomes a common thing while you're living in that environment. Tampa, for many years, wasn't that. You might have seen one Ferrari in a blue moon and be like, oh, wow, how cool is that?
Oh, if you showed up with a Ferrari 10 years ago to a car show, like, this guy is a billionaire.
It's crazy. So what the perception is that now, because of how fast money's moving, how fast these kids are now making money these days, I mean, man, how many years did you have to go to school to make the kind of money that you're making today?
7.
And now, I know kids that learn a skill of trading, or they're doing crypto trading, or doing meme coins, or whatever. Out of nowhere, they become millionaires overnight.
Yeah.
And it's just astonishing. But it's as well, technology has advanced so much that now you're seeing thousands of millionaires being created daily.
Oh, 100%.
So
you could be one trade away. I mean, it's crazy.
So what you see is now you're seeing more and more wealth and more of the luxury market coming into Tampa. That's why you're seeing all this beautiful developments. You're seeing this. So it's become now the norm as well here in Tampa. I mean, there's obviously cities that we can go to that you barely see any exotic vehicles, but the greatness is that for car enthusiasts and for people like us that have generated good income, what are the things that you want and desire? As a kid, what are the things you put on that vision board? You wanted the car, you wanted the watch and the house. Now it's become more accessible.
Yeah.
It's become, we go to car shows all the time, and bro, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's younger and younger generations. I'm not seeing the old dudes that we used to see, 50, 60-year-olds, are the ones that own the Ferraris.
I would say the average age is probably like 35 and below.
Yes.
It's probably between like 28 and 35 is probably 80% of the car owners.
Blows my mind, but it's a beautiful thing because we're car enthusiasts. We love
so
it.
awesome.
I love the car world, and I love what's happening here as far as the movement. But I believe that the reason we're seeing that movement become more prevalent is because of the wealth generation that's happening, the easier access to money, and what else are these kids going to spend money on, right?
I would say that there's probably not a car, there may be 1 or 2 cars that I haven't seen that have come out in the last decade that I haven't seen at a car show in Tampa. Whether, somebody had a friend that brought it in, whether it's, a Pagani, whether it's a McLaren Speedtail, whether it's, a LaFerrari, and, shout out to our buddy Chaz
You mentioned his collection.
Yeah. I was like, he's got all of those, but it was
Bugatti.
90% of it is I've seen it because of him. But I mean, which is incredible, and what he's built. But and even friends of his, or this, Todd from Naples Motorsports has brought up a couple cars because of the restaurant and Wesley Chapel and stuff like that in that car show. But Tampa's insane now with some of the cars. And then, how many friends do we have that, have a McLaren, have a Ferrari, have a, Lambo?
That's
So,
another reason why my business has been able to do well here.
yeah.
Because a few years ago, I would have never even thought about creating an exotic car business in Tampa. Please, that's not gonna work. But because of the movement, because of what I've been seeing, I launched the business, 2 years ago just to see what would happen, and with an idea of making it, very luxury, very, very high end, catering to a different type of avatar of customer. But it's blown up. It's been amazing. I mean, this weekend, like you said, we're sold out. Last weekend we were sold out as well.
That's amazing.
Spring break hits Florida, and I last year we did well. This year we did a lot better, and I just see it getting better and better and better. Like literally, I have like 6 or 7 messages right now on my phone of people looking for cars, but I have no cars, so I have to now call other people to try to assist them. But it's a good problem to have, But it's because of the great movement that's happening here in Tampa, man. Because back in the day, you might have 5 Lambos, sitting in your warehouse. Maybe 2 might go out on the weekend or whatever.
That was a good week.
That's an amazing week. Now everything's sold out. Now you're calling people. Like yesterday, I put an ad out. I'm like, listen, whoever has cars, hit me up because it's time to make some money.
So with that being said, obviously exotic cars are changing a little bit. So I asked some of my car friends, give me your thoughts on hybrid cars. I'll say my thoughts, keep you out a little bit of a trouble. I just, regardless of performance or anything like that, I just don't think I don't think the market's really accepting it. And you can see by the prices that it's not really.
That's where I was going with it. I'm like,
458's going like this, SF90's going like that. So,
and it's crazy. Even the Huracans.
Yeah.
I mean, look how they've maintained value. Right now, everybody's even starting by the Urises. The V8 Urises, the twin turbos, are now again being sold like close to $300,000.
Yeah.
It's like because these hybrid motors, to me, killed what us as car enthusiasts like to feel in the car.
Yeah.
And
well, you told me when I was like, hey, I got to trade in the Urus because I'm getting up in miles. I'm just going to get a newer one or a new one. And you were like, don't do that. You're like, just get as new as you can, non-hybrid. And luckily my boy,
stay away from that. Yes.
Nick at Dimon hooked it up. But
you
were like,
beautiful one.
Yeah, I just got one. Man, they get some cars over there. But and shout out obviously to my homies at Lamborghini Sarasota as well that take care of all my services. Want to stay in good graces with everybody. There's plenty of Kevin to go around. But yeah, I mean, you were the one that gave me the advice, and I'm like, and then I kind of started looking at everything and getting a feel, and it's like the Riveltos have done, well. Yeah. Temerarios, I think, are a little too new but we'll see.
I think Rivolto because of the look.
Yeah.
The look, because a lot of people will tell you this about thing, and like, it's cool and all, but it's still not what people would expect, Lambo to feel like. You know what I mean? And I think that feeling, again, it goes to everybody has their own, desire in life.
But think of the Aventador, though, like what just a cult classic. If that was, I mean, I get the racing and the single clutch and things like that and that effect. If that car was dual clutch, that would be an SVJ would be $2.5 million. Rather than $1 million, which is insane. I understand in real life that's, $1 million car, but no, that would be double, triple what it is if it was dual clutch.
You're right. So for us car enthusiasts, we understand these crazy prices. I know most people, you talk about the $1 million and the $2 million cars, like what? Who would dare to spend? And truthfully, that's what happens with the hypercars as well. You're way up there. Again, they're trying to keep it, in a narrow market. They're not going to try to expand that to everybody, but I'm not a big fan. I mean, me personally, I stick to what I like and what I enjoy driving. And a lot of these cars are just too much hype. Too much hype, man.
It's getting a little crazy. And I love cars and things, but if you had to give me a choice between, an Aventador S or SV or a Revelto, probably going with the, S. If you had to give me a choice between, an SF90 or 458, I'd probably, I'd pick the 458. I mean, it's just kind of like,
you're aligned with me.
Yeah, but which is still good because, these dealerships can still, thrive and do their things. And, as long as they have those relationships, I mean, it stinks with the newer cars, but it goes back to the old sentiment, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? So, you talk about, and we talked about at the beginning, God's purpose. And I saw some of the videos in the recent talk that you gave. You said your foundation starts there. I mean, do you think just everything comes from God's purpose? I do. I mean,
I personally, I feel that true success comes when you're in alignment with your purpose. And once you feel that and you understand that, and the only way you can identify that is to having a connection with your creator. And again, I'm not trying to get preachy, and most of the things that I try to say lately, it sounds like I'm preaching sermons, but it's just a belief system in me to understand that I can identify where my success comes from. I can identify that when I'm not in alignment or I'm not walking straight, nothing really falls into place. But when I do, everything falls into place. So it just, in my personal experience, like everything for me has the foundation of my faith and what I really believe and what's my perception. Everything in life is perception. So if I'm looking at something and I'm faithful and I'm truthful and I'm honest and I can actually say it is so because my faith says it is so, 99% of the time I'm going to manifest that.
absolutely.
And I really believe that, yes, everything in life, once you can connect with your spiritual side, because it's not just, it's physical, spiritual, mental, I believe that all of it needs to work together. But to me, once you start with the spirit, once you start to connecting with that, everything else starts to fall into place. And in my life, it's just been evident. So that's why I profess that, I confess that, I preach that. And I really believe that we all have the ability
You live it.
Yeah. Create your life by design. Like, I really believe that those desires in our heart, the visions, the dreams, we're not that smart. I believe God planted that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah.
not either.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like, everything that I've done in my life has been by design, has been creating a vision board, creating a desire, and walking in faith, believing that those desires will be achieved. And that's how I've lived my life.
for me, I don't judge anybody that doesn't believe in the same God that I do. You can believe in Jesus or not.
Yeah.
For me, I say believe in, it was years ago, I had a teacher tell me, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. So I don't, it doesn't matter to me what God that you believe in, as long as you believe in something that's going to provide a moral compass and a
Amen.
Foundation that you can do
Amen.
good in the world.
Yes.
With that being said, you were talking about designing life, and I want to get into talking about how you're getting into coaching now, which I think is fantastic for you, and I love that you're speaking because you've been a dear friend to me and such a positive influence. For me, I really want to point out, you said life is by design. I think that can definitely be said for me as well. And when I'm posting, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, when I'm talking about going into the gym, working hard, doing these things, making sure that I'm maximizing family time. That's just not like getting up and saying, oh, all right, what do I want to do today? That's, hey, I'm getting up at 5. I got the gym at 7. I'm at the office at 8:30. I got lunch here. I got this meeting.
You're
I got to call this
living with
client.
intention.
Correct.
Intention.
You can't walk around aimlessly
Right.
if you think you're going to have a high value life.
That's right.
Use a calendar.
That's right.
Write down your goals. Like, it's like so crazy to me that people just walk around like so aimlessly.
They have no direction.
Yeah.
They have no direction. But that's why, people perish because of failed vision, right? So I always tell, like, to me, a vision board is the simplest exercise, but people
And somewhere
say,
you can see it.
oh man.
By the mirror when you get ready in the morning. By your bed when you get up in the morning.
Even if
Whatever.
it's statements, even if it's writing down affirmations in the morning, whatever, it's getting your mind in the right order. And the vision boards, what vision boards do is they start to remind you every single day of the things that your heart desires, or the things that you're striving for, the things that you're hustling for. And it literally makes it easier to achieve those things when you have that vision. When you don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you're headed, it's like, where are you going? What are you doing with your life?
And
you know
it's
what I mean?
not stuff. And that's, what I've always wanted to get across to my audience, because we've been very fortunate with some nice things, some nice toys. But, I want to be able to drop my kid off. I want to design my schedule where I can drop my kid off every day at school. Do I want to design it where I can pick them up, every day? Do I want to design it where, I can take a half day every Friday, every other Friday? Do I want to design it where we have, theme park passes? Do I want to lose 20 pounds? It's not just like, I want to buy the Lambo, or I want to buy the watch, or I want to buy the dream house. It's like, look at not the stuff in your life, but look at your whole life. And it's like, what does that look like? And I think that's where people really fail, because they're or don't meet their goals, because it's all physical or all tangible.
Or yep.
So
Or all material.
correct.
They're only thinking of the material things, but they're not thinking about other things and the person that you have to become to achieve all those things. So again, vision. You know, by all means, I know that the world today, with all these new generations coming up, there's so many tools to generate income that a lot of people are like, okay, they don't even know where to go or what to start, where they want to be in marketing or they want to be an influencer or they want to
We've
be
almost given people too many options.
that's what's happening now even more. Now even more, because back then, I mean, when we were growing up, like the path to success was, you know, a business degree,
Doctor,
or
lawyer, plumber,
lawyer,
you know, AC guy, or
100%.
working in corporate America. Like
But
those
now-
were like your 5 options.
But now you have kids that came out, they put on a course on trading or whatever, they became millionaires within a couple of months. You know, there's all these things that you can monetize quickly, but we go back to alignment and purpose, because you can get financial wealth by so many means, but if you're not in alignment or living in purpose, it'll never be sufficient for you, never fulfill you. You'll never be in alignment with what you were called to be. Again, money is a resource that becomes, it's almost like I said, it's a byproduct of what we're doing. As long as you're sowing the seeds the correct way, you're going to reap the harvest. So I don't even focus on the money. I focus on the value I want to give, on the things that I want to do, and I know the money's going to come as a consequence automatically.
Well, I think we've evolved in the 21st century. Problem is this. So we look at like the 16 1700s. It's like, you look at America's evolution. Correct me on my history in the comments, but I think I'm going somewhere with this, right? You look at the 16 or 1700s, and it's like we're trying to get free. We're trying to get away from England and things like that. We want a free country. Okay, we got that. Now we're working in farms. We're working in fields. We're just providing for a family. It's like, okay, how do we get out of that? Where now we own businesses outside of just taking care of ourselves. How do we scale something? Then we go through the Industrial Revolution where we're working in factories. How do we get out of that? Then we go into the Tech Revolution and et cetera. And I might be skipping a couple things, but up until this point, it's all about how do we make money. I feel like the biggest problem in the 21st century now is how do we keep it?
Yes.
Like we know how to make money. Making money is not, you either, in sustainable life, that's a whole different, obviously, concept and things like that. But we know how to make money now, and nobody's ever been able to really teach these young people. It's like, okay, you made $2 million. How do you keep $1 million of it? Because you got taxes, insurance, rent, this, that, et cetera, and then your crazy lifestyle that you're trying to flex to everybody. You just made, $1 million this year, $2 million this year. And now you got $100,000 to show for it. That's a problem.
There's no financial literacy.
Zero.
There's nothing.
It's still not in the schools. There's still none. And it's like, that's a whole.
It's one of the main reasons that I've been driven to coaching and because a lot of people can see me from the outside and, oh, this guy has the cars, the businesses, whatever. That doesn't happen overnight.
No.
There's a system and there's plays and there's things that we put in order to be able to achieve those things, right? And I think that people are they don't have direction. They don't have guidance. They don't have good coaching, good teachers, good mentors. And I see that. We're involved in a lot of the entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs here in Tampa. Mm-hmm. And I've spoken to hundreds of them where I see that they're just trying to see what that guy's doing. If that's making money, then I'm going to be attracted to this. Or, oh, that guy's making money in life insurance, so let me go sell life insurance. But they're not doing things because that's really what they truly desire. They're just going after or chasing what they feel that it's going to give them that temporary satisfaction. Because once you do that, okay, you can develop into a great salesperson, which I believe everybody should be in sales in some way, shape, or form. Marketing and sales is everything.
Constantly. If you want to grow, yeah.
So I really believe that that's a good road to take, but it's not the road to take just because you're going there because that's where the money's at.
Correct.
And most people will look at their lives.
What's the more?
Yeah.
What's the and?
Yes. Like there has to be, in life, we have to have fulfillment. And I really believe that there has to be that internal, compass that guides us and directs us. And it's not all about the money. All I'm teaching this young generation and everybody I speak to is, listen, you see everybody with the money and you think that that's what you want to do. No, sit back, identify your gifts, identify your desires, identify your dreams, and go after that. That's going to give you the best, fulfillment in life.
Well, I know, obviously, we both know a lot of people in life insurance, and there's some people that are absolutely
Oof,
crushing
incredible,
it, and
incredible.
health insurance, and are making, quite a bit of money. It's the new solar.
Yes,
Um,
you're right.
but it's like you look at these young guys, not at the, not at the top, but, kind of just getting started, and they start making a little bit of coin. And it's like, okay, I made, they're getting paid weekly. And it's like, okay, I got $8,000 to $10,000 a week. So it's like, I'm doing $30,000 months. Holy cow, I'm making, 350 grand a year. I'm killing it, right? Then it's like 30 a month. Okay, well, third of that is going to taxes. So now you got 20. Then you just spend another 2 grand on dinners. Then you just spend another 4 grand on an apartment because you got to impress all the ladies. And then you just spend another, 3 grand on clothes, another 2 grand on suits, and this and this and this and this. And then you're like, I got $1,000 left.
That's right.
And it's like, you killed it on the outside, but 3, 4, or 5 years from now, if life insurance or health insurance is not as lucrative, you're going to be selling your suits for 10 cents on the dollar and praying that you can get out of your BMW lease. And I hope people think about that. I'm so glad you're getting into that business, and obviously we'll put the details in the description below on that. I want to talk about the events that you're doing because at your space, because I've been to a couple and they've been awesome. How did that come about? Where it's like, I want to start inviting people into my second home.
Well, so when we started PGLux and it started growing, I immediately visualized that I wanted a warehouse space. So I come from Miami, and I have the idea of Wynwood, which we know about Wynwood.
Very well, yeah.
So Wynwood was, because my wife being an architect and artist, we're involved in every type of art fair that happens in Miami. We're there all the time. And I wanted to bring some of that flair here to
Can you
Tampa.
believe what a nothing burger Wynwood was 15 years? I mean, you didn't want to be down there.
No, you didn't want to be down there. 15, 20 years ago, that was
not a good place to be.
Bad.
Now it's like, Art Basel and craziness
Design
and private party.
district,
Yeah,
everything.
Design district was another place where it's like, and now you got people walking around with $100,000 watches, spending, dropping 20 grand at Louis Vuitton. So, but you wanted to create that in Tampa.
So that flair of the luxury events, the art shows, the car shows, but in the warehouse space. So I started thinking, I want to get a warehouse, or I want to find a warehouse. And again, it's all about intention and putting it out there. The moment we put it out there, literally within weeks, we were able to find the location that I have now, which looked nothing like it does today.
I would imagine it looked a tad bit different. Yeah.
So we had vision behind it. Obviously, my wife being a high-end, architect designer for the high-end garages. When we got the warehouse, my idea was to build a cool garage, store the cars, and create networking events, create parties, create, private events that are very, very common to what we used to go to in Miami. And that's really what the vision was. And I'm thankful that God allowed us to manifest little by little by little, that we are now hosting the type of parties that I imagined and dreamed of having the cool networking events, the car shows. With all the cool events that we're having now, we're having another event with one of us coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, love those guys. Yeah,
so,
good dudes.
We're about to do something really cool with them. And then we're also doing another car show that's coming up, PGLux as well, which I want you to collaborate with me as well.
100% be there.
But it became a hub for where we can literally give value to the community, and at the same time connect with leaders in the community that are like-minded, that are business owners, that are people that are striving to give value to the community. So one of the things that we're now going into, we're now creating like a mastermind. We're going to create, speaking seminars. We're going to create sales seminars. We're going to create some really cool stuff that really give more value to the entrepreneurs as well as doing a lot more of night events. One of the things that I have in mind is creating an outdoor movie theater in the backyard as well. So we're doing some really cool stuff that we can drive through and do some really cool things, man. But be on the lookout. It's going to be the compound, anything that PGLux does when you guys follow us on social media. But our location is called the Compound Tampa.
That's amazing. It's so nice to see. I mean, I've been out of the bar scene for some years now, so it's nice to have something that, I can take my wife to, or 100%. I can even take my kids to and things.
And that was the intention too. So the dinner that you went to the other night, it was
a blast. Yeah.
So we're now doing another one in a couple of months. It's called Fast and Feast, and we're going to put different themes. I think this one's going to be that casino theme. We're going to think of a circus theme coming up too.
Nice.
Like there's some really cool stuff that we're doing, but it's catering to that. It's catering to a place that you don't necessarily need to go to a nightclub or a bar. You can come, have a nice dinner, have, drinks if those that like to drink, or we have mocktails for those that, want the mocktails, but it's a place that we can commute with other like-minded people, other also high net worth individuals. We do some little catering stuff to that as well, that people can just feel they're comfortable in the room. They don't have to go to a different place. They can all be in one cool spot. So if we can do that 3-4 times a year and create a cool movement around that, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
That'll be amazing. And obviously we'll have the details for the compound as well. So, you're essentially in the lifestyle business, whether, we talked about it with, the cars, planes, events, dealing with business owners, entrepreneurs and things like that. How do you stay grounded? How do you stay on planet Earth when you're flying so high above?
My wife.
Yeah, that's a great. Me too, my man.
We can have all these aspirations and have this big.
You have a good marriage when you get you're really wearing that.
Yes,
yeah,
100%.
You're saying that.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that my wife, being my best friend, shout out to her. Love you, baby.
Amazing.
Just my best friend and partner in life. We've been together now for 25 years.
It's rare.
It's very, very rare. But everything that we've built and succeeded and failed at, we've done together.
Mm-hmm.
So she's my partner in crime. But I really believe that no matter how successful either of us can get, we are each other's compass, to bring each other back to reality in a sense, right? But I think humility is the most important thing because the lifestyle that I get to live, a lot of people may think that this guy is all about the BS, and I'm not. I really believe that those are things that God has blessed me with, and I get to enjoy that life. But my heart, I always tell God, please keep me humble in every way, shape, or form. Don't ever change my humility. Don't ever change my love. I want to love people. I don't want to love things. I don't want to love money. I want to love people. I know that all the other things will be attracted to me. And as long as I live by that every single day, man, I feel that it keeps us grounded, right? Because I don't ever want to see as, okay, yes, I want to be successful. I want to be a person of impact. I want to be a blessing to everybody I come in contact with, but I don't ever want to feel or see myself above anybody.
Of course. And I'm on the same way with that. Things are really tools. I talk about, the cars and things, the green Lambo, kind of made me famous. And I've been able to connect with so many people. They're like, why do you have that car? I mean, isn't that a depreciating asset? First of all, it's not. I think I probably made money on that car after 24,000 miles. But the bigger thing is, it's like joining a country club. The connections and the people that I've met have just been absolutely incredible because of the car scene. And it's the same thing with, watches or wearing nice clothes or suits or this or that. There's nothing wrong with doing those things if you're doing it for connection and networking rather than vanity. If you're just trying to rock the nicest suit because it's like, I'm better than you, or the car or whatever, or I'm, look at me. That's not it. I buy things which is crazy. And I get it. And some people, and that's okay. You live your life and
they found their identity in that
and things.
BS.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, my identity is in Christ. My identity is in my family and really, continuing to be a human being.
Correct.
Right? And that's the most important thing because in this world right now, there's so many different choices that people are taking, right now, even with gender and all. I don't even want to get into all the politics like crap. There's so many things that are going on in the world that you sit back.
Us canceled. No,
and you're like, man, you sit back and you're like, it's just, today, anybody can be anything they want to do. They can choose. Like right now, isn't there something going on? Like there's kids acting like dogs and dressing up like dogs and whatever.
Like, I think there's like something with animals or something.
Yeah,
it's getting interesting out there.
It's like, what else, right?
Yeah.
So keep focused, grounded, connected with God, your purpose, and all that is just noise. But you can sit back and look at all that noise and get a little distorted, a little distracted, a little confused, especially with the new generation coming up. Where are their values? Where are the things that really, really we need to be teaching, the morals? And that to me is my responsibility as a father, because everything starts in the home. Whatever is being portrayed out there is because it started in the home. So for me, my biggest role is as a father, as a husband, as a leader, is to be the best person that I can be, the best example, that we can literally create people and young leaders that are going to impact the world for good.
For me, and very similarly, I've talked about it in prior episodes where I gave up on changing the world a long time ago. I'm not ever trying to get into politics after what I've seen, I'm super good. All I want to do is make a positive impact on my little circle and on my people and things like that. And hopefully that young kid that I meet at a car show with his mom and dad, I'm not like talking to young kids or anything like that. Let's not get weird, internet. But you know, that kid that comes up with his mom or whatever, is like, oh my God, I love your car. Hey, sit in it. You know what I mean? I tell every one of those kids, make sure you listen to your mom and dad and make sure you do well in school. And hopefully, you know, that little boy or that little girl remembers that guy with the green Lamborghini and says, I want to do well in life. And hopefully, like you said, somebody sees my Instagram and says, you know, I want to, you know, maybe they're struggling with a bad relationship. I want to find my person. I want to find my Mrs. Sullivan. You know, I hope my story can and provide an effect to the local community. You know, hey, I want to get healthy. You know, I know Kevin, you know, I was getting up in pounds a little bit. You know, I love my sweets, and you know, hey, I can start going to the gym and I can start doing better. So all I'm trying to do is make the world a little bit better. So you know, when our kids are coming up and my kids are growing up, that you know they can hopefully do the same and have a positive influence.
I want to impact people in a positive light, in a positive way. And I ask God, you know, give me the opportunity today to impact and influence more people for the better. That's what it's all about.
With that being said, I told you earlier that I always ask this question at the end of every episode as we're wrapping up. And like I said, we're going to have all of Luigi's contact details. So if you ever want to, you know, rent a car, not that we're promoting, but a little bit of promotion, you know, if you ever want to rent a vehicle, if you ever, you know, need to charter a plane, if you want to get involved in his coaching or all the other amazing projects, the event space and things like that, the compound, you know, we'll make sure that you guys know about that. The question is, when the music stops and you're at the end of your story, what do you want to be remembered for?
A man of faith. Honestly, if I was to just sit back and think of one word that determines my life, is faith. And it's faithfulness and faith, and understanding what faith is. It's not living in hopeful expectations. It's literally a man that spoke it, walked it, and lived it. And you know, for my children and for the legacy that I want to leave is a person that literally lived by faith in everything he did, and he wanted to impact the world for better in everything that he did. Every choice that I made, everything that I did was literally to leave a better impact on this world, a better seed sown, inspiration, motivation. I just literally want to be that person that just was a light in the darkness. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Well, I think you've certainly done that, and I'm honored to call you a friend, and you know, somebody that is trying to make the world a better place, just like I am. So make sure that you support Luigi in all his endeavors, and make sure even more so that you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I gotta ask. I never I feel like I do and I don't, but absolutely, this is an incredible episode. Make sure we get this one out there because there was so much positivity. Dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I appreciate you. So much, and as we always end, it is not an accident that Luigi is as successful as he is, and we're out. See you guys soon.
Much love. God bless.